In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to measure and use various utilities within Rhino. So we have this shoe here, and say that we are interested in the toe cap and we want to measure some of the properties of the toe cap. So let me isolate it from the rest. Now I want to measure the distance between this tip of the toe cap and this other one. I can do it linearly by using the measure tool that I found here on the top toolbar, and I can pick the first and pick the second, and as you can see, the measurement is displayed also nearby your cursor. So in this case is 178 millimeters, and I can also measure the X distance and the Y distance by just looking at the cursor. If I click, I have my measurement here. It's as we mentioned 178 millimeters, and I have the X distance and the Y distance. But so this is pretty useful if I want to measure anything, and or I can use my crosshair to measure like on a specific distance, and I can measure it and align it on whatever I want. And I can also measure the length on the curve. So in this case, if I select from here to here, I can see that the measurement is 207 millimeters, 0.4, between these two points. And here what I can do also that is a nice help for pattern engineers is that whenever I am in a distance that I'm interested in, so say 3 centimeters here, I can click and I can reset my distance measurement, and as you can see I am measuring now from the second point, and I got in parentheses the measure from the first point. So in this case I measure 3 centimeter and another 3 centimeter, and then 3 more centimeter, then 3 centimeter, and I can divide this using this technique, and I have my various points that then are added to my model once I accept. I have the total length measured, and I have my points here that I can use as a reference, and then I can delete them. So this measurement tool allow me to measure things on a curve, the path on the curve, and the distance between the point I select and the other point I'm interested in. Okay. Another thing that I can measure for this curve, that is a closed curve, I can measure the area by clicking on the calculate area. And I can see here in my command line that the area here is 6,875 square millimeters. And this is an interesting thing. For example, for performing some calculation, I can also get the area in this case from my part panel here, and I see it's the same calculation, of course. And this can be useful when doing costing calculation and in general when estimating metrics on my shoe. Okay, so these are some of the basic utilities that I can use for measuring properties within my model. So I can measure linear distance, I can measure distance on curves, and I can measure areas. Another thing that I can also see from here is the direction of a curve. This is also quite useful tool, and this allows me to see what is the direction and the flow of this curve and where the point of connection of the curve in this case is.